Arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Holman,
family.
with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
So she said legal asylees did not commit crimes. We're not talking about legal asylees. Tom Homan's talking about the illegal immigrants that broke the law to come into this country. She's still trying to evade on calling them illegal, the people that are illegal in this country. When you break the law, coming into this country illegally, the parent will be separated from the child. Why is the child getting charged for a crime that they didn't choose to commit? The parent chose to bring their child into their crime. She's an airhead. I never liked AOC. She's an airhead.
I just want to, before we move on, and I want to get Jorge in here, but I want to let you respond directly to some criticism that's circulating this week. There's a photograph from 2014 that has suddenly gone viral again this week that shows you at a holding facility walking past what appears to be children in cages. Would you take us to that moment? What was the situation that day? And when you look at this photo that is now circulating now and being used as part of the Trump administration's argument that they inherited a bad situation that you guys set up.
Very clearly,
Trump didn't become president till 2016. She just said these are conditions from 2014 during Obama's administration. Keep that in mind.
This Border Patrol processing center there in McAllen, Texas, is kind of the epicenter of all of this family separation debate, where the majority of these families are being separated from their kids. And that's the place which is often called the dog kennel. So you see these kind of chain link fence rooms where people are kind of divided. The parents are put to one side, the kids are taken to another. That's really like a place where people pass through. It's not designed to hold people for a long time. So that's why they have those see-through kind of cages, if you will, where they put parents on one side, kids on the other, so that they can send them in different directions. Kids go to the shelters. The parents are often sent to federal court to face the criminal charges. We're just starting to kind of get a first glimpse into some of these shelters for detained immigrant children, kids that are being separated from their parents at the border. At first glance, they are quite different than detention centers for adults. I had a chance to visit the largest of these shelters.
See, and this is what the media likes to spin on the truth of what was actually going on. This happened during the Obama administration, creating these so-called cages, which are basically chain link fences up to contain people so they don't move. Now, how it used to be where people come to the border and say they're seeking asylum, the judge lets them know, okay, here is your court date so you can get granted asylum into this country. You need to come to your court date. They let the individual come into the country. They never go to court to finish the process. And this is how we've accumulated all these people that never went back to their court date to see if they're actually valid to be in this country. Here at this facility, in an enclosed area where you could still see through the fence, so you can make sure you still have eye contact with your family, especially if it's the parents being separated from their children, because the parents are the ones that are wanting to come through. If they come through illegally and they get caught, they have to be separated from their children. The children did not choose and want to break the law. The parents did that forcefully for their children to help them get a better life here in this country. I understand that. But the way the process works, we can't just say, okay, you broke the law, you're in, now go ahead and do whatever you want in this country. That doesn't work out, especially with the crimes that has happened, that's gotten national attention. But let's see how the facilities have been or were when they started. This is kind of an old video, I believe, right after Obama and then Trump's first administration. This is in Brownsville, Texas.
It's a former Walmart, if you believe it or not, in Brownsville, Texas, so very close to the border. Basically, there's almost 1,500 boys who are being kept in this former Walmart. We don't know why it's only males or only females, only boys, only girls in some facilities. It seems up to the nonprofits that run them, question of efficiency, perhaps. But there's a lot of secrecy around this whole process. It's very hard to get into the facilities, and it's taken weeks, months even, for reporters to kind of get a glimpse at what it's like inside of them. It's a giant facility, but it's still pretty crowded. I mean, they have repeatedly asked for kind of variances to increase the number of beds that they're allowed to put in there. They've added cots to some of the rooms in order to...
It has to be a little bit of secrecy, because how do people determine what is morally right to contain these people in a facility and still prevent crimes from happening within this facility, especially with kids involved and people that are unknown who they are? We don't know if some of these people have crimes in the past, are pedophiles. We don't know who they are. So this facility is about basically sorting through who they are to see if you're even eligible to come into this country legally.
To kind of expand the capacity, you see scores of kids in the cafeteria kind of sitting down and eating. It's like a little city unto itself inside this Walmart. So there was a McDonald's there previously when it was a Walmart. Now that's a cafeteria that serves 1,500 kids. So they have to do them in different shifts. There's counseling.
Anybody complaining, whining about why certain prices in this country are going up when it comes to American citizens, legal American citizens that are here, wondering why are these prices going up? Well, our government is reaching into our pockets, taxing us more to provide services and stuff for these people. They're obviously not paying for it because they just came into this country. So who's paying for it? Who's paying for it? You're paying for it.
Facilities or services inside there. There is soccer fields in the back that are fenced in. So these kids are basically being held there. You also have kind of recreation rooms. Kids are able to play pool, play video games. There's classrooms. There's so many kids now that they have to do schooling in 2 shifts. So really, this facility, like many of them, are kind of filled to capacity, and that's why we're now seeing the administration talk about opening more shelters for these kids on military bases. And we just saw a tent city open up in Tornillo, Texas, for some of these separated kids as well.
And that's not a bad idea. I would recommend adding some facilities on military installations to keep them even more secured and making sure that these people that are coming in trying to have a better life here are also being protected by our own military, rather than just some facility close to the border ran by the local communities or that are helping the government. I mean, I believe it would be a good idea to have them within the military base, in my opinion.
Lawmakers have kind of said that kids are being kept in cages. The reality is that at these ORR shelters, facilities are better than that. It wouldn't be fair to call them cages. Rather, they are certainly places where they're confined. They can't walk out the door, but there are a lot of facilities provided for them. Like I said, when I went, there were kids doing Tai Chi with an instructor. So there's kind of a semblance of kind of regular life for these kids. But again, some of them have been separated from their parents and are going through that trauma, and other ones haven't seen their parents in.
Why are they being separated? That's the key word. Why are they being separated? Now, is the parent a criminal? They all of a sudden they're getting in process and they get flagged for being a criminal, maybe? Okay, well, now that you're a criminal, we have to separate you from your kid because we need to process you and say, hey, you're going to be denied. You have to go back to your home country. And a lot of these people don't come just from Mexico. They come from everywhere in the world. It could be China, Germany, anywhere. And they all use the southern border to get into the United States because they know, especially within the past 4 years, that it's been very easy to come through utilizing an app. Can't remember the name of the app, but under the Biden administration, they implemented some app where illegals can go on the app and basically fill an application to basically say, oh yeah, I'm here in this country, but there's no type of background check, nothing to verify who they actually are. So that's why it's important to have some type of facility. If we're getting so many people rushing the border, we need to have something to hold them still and say, hey, we need to take one at a time. We can't just, hey, everybody storm on in. We don't know who's in the crowd. That's a bad egg. There's always a bad egg.
Okay.